Tesla FSD Full Self-Driving. Is this the future? Tesla's beta model of their full self-driving software program has been launched to a small number of human beings, and it's thoughts-blowing. Before we start with the video, just make sure that you like and subscribe to our channel. Turn the bell notification on so that you'll never miss any of our crazy updates. This release offers us a glimpse into the FSD rewrite that Tesla has been operating on inside the final year or so. The goal of this constrained beta is to prove the FSD bundle is safe and sufficient to roll out to a bigger audience. Just earlier than this launch, I wrote an editorial detailing what Tesla has been operating on and how this release changed into going to be a quantum soar. Honestly, I assume they've lived up to the hype. Here's the entirety exciting that we've visible inside the beta so far and what its method is for the future of self-reliant riding. FSD beta delivers new features. For the long term now, any Tesla prepared with autopilot has been able to live in its lane and monitor its velocity based totally on traffic. This feature became ordinarily for dual carriageway riding, but over the years turned into correct sufficient that it can be used on metropolis streets with a few caveats. These features have been referred to as enhanced autopilot, and the full self-driving package deal unlocked automated lane changes and exiting merging onto highways at the site of maximum lately information visitors' lights. Each of those progressions slowly moved us closer to the promised complete metropolis road using, in which the car may want to take you from point A to factor B with little to no interventions. However, Elon stated that their existing approach was trapped in a nearby most, and therefore it appeared unlikely to supply the entire character set. To overcome this, the team has rewritten the core FSD architecture, which means more than one image from the front digicam array can now be labeled and processed together and correlated in time before each photo becomes processed independently, which is why they had been suffering to development. So what does all of this suggest? What has it introduced? Here's a listing of all the cool functions that the FSD beta has unlocked and links to instance footage from the various beta testers. Left and right activate metropolis streets, choosing the appropriate lane at visitors' lighting fixtures to make turns and keep, yielding to oncoming visitors on the way to make turns, navigating roundabouts, stopping and continuing to forestall signs and symptoms, and even creeping to test for oncoming visitors if the corner is blind, driving over the traces to keep away from parked automobiles or cyclists, navigate around visitors' cones, driving on roads without lane markings, slowing down for velocity bumps, full point A to factor B, driver has to take over for parking. One factor to be aware of whilst watching those clips is that the UI is a developer interface. Its motive is normally to reveal the Tesla engineers what the car is seeing when growing and debugging the FSD software. This beta has been enabled for the restrained use set when using FSD on city streets to give them a higher knowledge of what the auto is doing and seeing. This is critical as the auto remains in beta, so will not be ideal. Giving the beta testers some on-display screen visualizations facilitates them apprehending what the automobile is seeing, and with a bit of luck saves you any Marvel maneuvers. The future of full self-driving. As you watch a number of the clips above, you'll in all likelihood be aware of a few matters. Firstly, the driving revel is never ideal. And second, drivers are nevertheless intervening to assist the automobile out. But that is okay. In fact, it's what Tesla wants. Tesla is the use of every beta tester as a using trainer for his or her software program. They've been growing this for some time now, checking out between themselves privately, and Elon himself stated that he's had an alpha model of this FSD rewrite for a while. The most vital, take a look at the software program, although is large scale, actual global use. No amount of simulation can equal the daily conditions of the actual world. As Elon might say, reality is the toughest sim. Think again while you have been studying DeForce. You start out with some principles, and you've probably watched Mother and Father and others using for years earlier than getting in the driver's seat. However, none of this prepares you for, in reality, using on the street through yourself. We learn with the aid of driving on actual roads, however, with an experienced trainer who's there to manual us and interfere when we make mistakes. This is precisely the approach Tesla is taking with its FSD software program. The FSD beta is a learner driver taking to the road for the primary time, and Tesla's complete fleet of vehicle proprietors could be the academics. Already, in only a week, the beta testers have obtained updates that have vastly progressed their enjoyment and taken new functions. This is why a slow release of this beta is so vital. As increasingly bugs are ironed out and this beta makes its manner into more motors, no longer simplest in the US, however international, it's best to depend of time before it's far riding without its human trainer. How lengthy this can take remains to be visible. However, Elon has said that if all is going nicely with the initial trying out, then a public beta needs to be released within the US via the cease of the 12 months. vehicles. Tesla's generic approach versus Waymo. The very last huge factor to point out here is Tesla's approach to complete self-using. You would possibly wonder what's taking Tesla goodbye while there are completely self-sufficient vehicles on the road these days from agencies like Waymo, which require no human inside the driving force's seat. The cause Waymo can do this is that they are surprisingly special pre-built maps that spotlight statistics consisting of curbs and sidewalks, lane markers, crosswalks, visitors, lighting, stop signs and symptoms, and other road capabilities. This method can simplest pressure in areas that have been mapped out, but it gives them detailed information of what the world seems like at the auto's modern-day GPS coordinates. They use cameras and LiDAR sensors to hit upon other vehicles, avenue signs and symptoms, and traffic mild shades so the auto can drive adequately on public roads. This method gets you to real, complete self-riding plenty faster. This is as its predictable Waymo can guarantee that the car is aware of everything about its environment and therefore most effective has to show it's capable to drive to this place. The drawback is that it requires pre-constructed maps, meaning the car cannot pressure itself in an area that has by no means been mapped, and if a place changes, roadworks, roads are up to date, etc., the maps need to be updated. The LiDAR sensors used in the automobile also are currently very pricey, which means mass production charges can be too high. Commercial releases of those cars do not exist, but consequently, presently, Waymo cars are used as taxi service. In assessment, Tesla's method is extra well known. Tesla is efficiently trying to resolve human vision and selection making in the context of riding a car. To preserve charges low, they don't use LiDAR sensors that are great at measuring the space of objects, and as an alternative wish to solve this hassle the way human beings do, with imaginative and prescient usage of cameras. This continues the value of the cars low, as cameras are noticeably cheap, but the disadvantage is the software takes longer to expand. This technique way that Tesla automobiles are being constructed to power anywhere and address any scenario that a human driver might come across. They are correctly constructing a system that sees and translates the actual global as a human would. With this approach, their motors can and could be completely self-using nearly everywhere on Earth. Complications get up as you enter into exceptional nations with exclusive street legal guidelines and symptoms. However, with a fleet of cars already amassing data in these nations, it only depends on the use of these statistics to train the vehicle to force below these new restrictions. This is precisely the same component that we do as people when renting vehicles while on an excursion in the distinct US. Let's hear your thoughts in the comment section below. Follow us for more updates. Thanks for watching!